It's week 9 of the Texas high school football season, and the chase for the playoffs begins now. These are the picks. Welcome into the picks presented by Visit Arlington, your guide to Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is week 9 of the 2020 Texas high school football season, and I think this is the moment when it really gets weird that you have the small schools a month ahead of the big schools. Here's what I mean. For the small schools, 4A and below, we're now into week 9. We are a little less than a month away from the 2020 Texas high school football playoffs for those teams, and so the chase for the playoffs is real. It is here. We are deciding playoff spots right now in what can be some team's 9th game of the season. In the 6A and 5A ranks, we're not even halfway done with the regular season. We're in week 5, and there are huge games all across the state at every level, but in particular at the small school level, the sense of urgency has to be a little bit higher, and that's going to make for some really interesting contests down the stretch the rest of the way. So, huge games all across the state at every level. We start in Westbrook. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Wildcat Stadium in Westbrook. It's number 1 versus number 2 in the 6-man ranks as the Westbrook Wildcats welcome in the Sterling City Eagles. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, Sterling City's speed. When you take a look at this Eagles team, 7-0, off to a fantastic start, it's thanks in large part to what I think is exceptional team speed. Everywhere you look, they have guys who can fly sideline to sideline. Francisco Gonzalez, Jarrett Justice, Camden Pruitt. They can fly around better than almost every 6-man team in the state, and they're going to need it against what's been an exceptional Westbrook squad. So, can Sterling City's speed be the difference maker? Key number 2, Westbrook's lockdown defense. So when you think about 6-man football, you usually think high-scoring offenses, and you're usually right, but Westbrook is off to a fantastic start and a surprising start, thanks in large part to their defense. It has been exceptional all year long, with Keenan Morris and Jimmy Roberts leading the way for what has been a dynamic Westbrook defense. Don't believe me? Take a look at the numbers, okay? This year, they have held their opponents on average 32 points below what they normally score. Yeah, it's serious. Coach Homer Matlock has done an incredible job with this Wildcats defense. They're in for a big test this week. Can the Westbrook defense dominate? And key number 3, pressure cooker. Look, this is number 1 versus number 2 in the 6-man ranks. And I understand that maybe some folks around the state don't pay as much attention to 6-man football, but this is the biggest game in the state at any level, anywhere in Texas. It's a huge, huge matchup that's going to have massive ramifications, not just for this district, not just for this region, but for the entire state of Texas. I think you can make a real argument that this is the biggest game in Westbrook program history. Now, Sterling City has traditionally dominated whenever these two teams get together. In fact, Sterling City is 6-0 against the Wildcats since Sterling City moved back to the 6-man ranks in 2008. There's going to be a Fox Sports Southwest reporter there. This is the center of the Texas high school football universe. And with that comes more pressure, comes a need to step up in a big way, in a big game. So, with the pressure on and the lights bright, which team steps up? Who am I picking? I'm going with Westbrook. I think the Wildcats bring home a huge win and stake their claim as the best team in 1A Division I because of 2 things. 1, that outstanding defense. Defense has been exceptional, and I think it's going to challenge the Sterling City attack in a big way. And 2, I think Hunter Rich, their spread back, takes over in this game. I think he has a massive game and gets them a little bit of a lead that they can hold on to late. I think this game is close, and Sterling City's team speed is going to give Westbrook some fits. But I think Westbrook brings home a win. Let's go to 3A, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Bramos Memorial Stadium in Hallsville. It's a critical 3A showdown as Hallsville welcomes in Yoakum. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, Yoakum's ground and pound. They say that teams take the personality of their coach, and I think Yoakum is a perfect example of that. Former Texas offensive lineman Bo Robinson is the coach at Yoakum, and he has instilled in this program a hard-nosed, physical mentality with a big offensive line and an outstanding running game led by Dorian Heights. This is a traditional power in Yoakum that has been taken to the next level because of how physical they are. Hallsville's going to have to match up with them up front and slow down that running game. So, can Yoakum do what they normally do and ground and pound? Key number 2, Big Bad Brooks. Let's Talk about Jonathan Brooks, the running back for Hallsville. The Texas commit is a total mismatch at the 3A level. He is the best player on the field. Every time he steps out there, he is a dynamo, and he can do a little bit of everything. He's got terrific vision. He can lower the shoulder and run over people, and then plain and simple, he's a burner. He can run away from people whenever he gets a little bit of space. It's going to be critical for Yoakum to contain Jonathan Brooks. So, in this critical district matchup, what kind of impact does Jonathan Brooks have? And key number 3, shake it off. This game lost a little bit of its luster last week when Yoakum lost to a very good Columbus team. Keep an eye on the Cardinals. They are very dangerous, now state ranked. But Yoakum still got a lot to play for, okay? There's a share of the district title that's still up for grabs, and there's big-time playoff seeding implications in this game because a loss here for Yoakum could drop them to the number 3 seed in the playoffs. For Hallsville, they want to make sure they don't let Yoakum get any confidence. I think the first quarter in this game is going to be absolutely critical. Can Hallsville run out to a lead, or can Yoakum shake off last week's struggles? Who am I picking? I'm going with Hallsville. I'm going with the team with the single individual best playmaker, and that is Jonathan Brooks. He has been a dynamo for the squad. But furthermore, I think the Hallsville defense is really starting to round into form. I think you've seen them take a couple of steps forward the past couple of weeks, and I'm very, very intrigued to see what they do with this big physical Yoakum team. So I think that this is a game that's going to be dictated by pace. Hallsville's a little bit more of a home run hitting squad, while Yoakum wants to kind of dictate the time of possession. So who can determine what kind of game, what style of game this game is played? I think it's close. I think it's very, very hard hitting. But I think Hallsville comes away with a very narrow win. 6:30 p.m. Thursday night at Cy-Fair FCU Stadium in Cypress. It is a big-time 16-6A clash as the Bridgeland Bears take on the Cy Ranch Mustangs. And two great quarterbacks in this one. If you're into just watching really good quarterbacks, this is the game for you. You've got DJ Sears, the quarterback for Cy Ranch. He has been terrific all year long. Going up against Connor Wiegman and the Bears attack, they have been really exceptional this year. We think that they're going to be able to get wide receiver Dylan Goffney back this week. That would obviously be a huge difference maker. So I'm really interested in the offenses in this game. But what's going to give Bridgeland the win, in my mind, is the defense, led by Bryce McMorris. I think they come up with 1 or 2 extra stops. I think Bridgeland takes home a victory. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Yellow Jacket Stadium in Boyd. It's a battle of unbeatens as the Boyd Yellow Jackets welcome in the Brock Eagles. And what a job Brandon Hopkins has done at Boyd. Off to a 7-0 start. They already have their most wins in a season since 2013. Truly remarkable what they've been able to do. And their quarterback, Rendon Lamance, is a game changer. I really like this kid, and he is capable of taking this game over. But I think Brock is a different animal. The number 1 team in 3A Division I has looked every bit the part of a state championship contender because of how physical they are up front and the running game with Cash Jones. That's going to be the question here. Can Boyd match up front against this big physical Brock team? I'm just not sure that they can. I give Brock the edge here. And 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Texan Stadium in Wimberley, the District 14 4A Division II title is on the line as the Wimberley Texans welcome in the Geronimo Navarro Panthers. A great clash in styles in this one. You've got the high-flying spread attack led by Matthew Tippy on the Wimberley side, and then you've got the slot T for Geronimo Navarro, led by Mark Wozniak, and we say the slot T is the devil. Very hard to game plan for. And traditionally, Navarro has had their way with Wimberley. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings in this series because I think the slot T is really hard to slow down. I think this game comes down to defense, but I think Wimberley holds serve at home. Give me the Texans. But those are far from the only big games in Week 9 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Wellington over Clarendon. El Campo beats Bay City in one of the great rivalries in Texas high school football. And speaking of rivalries, I like Dangerfield over Paul Pewitt. Eddie Lee Marburger leads Sherilyn Pioneer past McAllen Memorial. Give me El Paso Americas over El Paso Pebble Hills, assuming that they play. And I like Eastland over Jacksboro. I'm taking San Antonio Brandeis just barely over San Antonio Johnson. Give me Wascom to stay perfect with a win over Harleton. And hey, Laredo! I like United over United South. Abernathy beats Lubbock Coronado. Battle of Unbeatens, I like Canyon over Pampa. And down south, I like Raymondville over Hidalgo. Give me Tenaha to beat Cushing. And Hawkins stays perfect with a win over Price Carlisle. I like Katie Tompkins over Katie Taylor. Give me Franklin to beat Buffalo. And I'm going with Richmond Foster over Fort Bend Hightower. Wichita Falls Rider beats Wichita Falls. Bushland takes down Delhart. And keep an eye on Huntsville. I think they're dangerous. I think they beat Brian Rudder. I like Georgetown over Pflugerville Hendrickson. Mount Vernon stays perfect with a win over Winsboro. And give me Hawley over Anson. I'm going Galena Park North Shore over Beaumont Westbrook. Give me Crane to take down Alpine. And I like Cisco over Coleman. Lampasas wins a fun one over Austin LBJ. I like Llano to stay perfect with a win over Blanco. And give me Comfort over Lago Vista. It's Mid-County Madness. I like Nederland over rival Port Neches Groves. Give me Port Lavaca Calhoun to beat Corpus Christi Miller. And I'm going with Tomball Memorial in a wild shootout over Klein Kane. Livingston beats Viter. I like Crawford over Bosqueville. And Waco La Vega takes down Midlothian Heritage. Smithson Valley squeaks by Schertz. Clemens Marcus beats Flower Mound in the Battle of the Mound. And in the six-man game of the week, well, the other six-man game of the week, the one at the top of the show, I like Happy over Valley. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 9 of the Texas high school football season. Be safe. Wear a mask. We'll see you.